Yo, what's good? It's Chosen NC, and I'm back with another video. And for this video, I just want to dive deep into accountability and stop making excuses for ourselves in the state of our life. We gotta assume and just proceed our role as a creator of our own life, as a source and the generator, the operator and the destroyer of our own life. And we just gotta take in this role for what it is. We gotta understand that we are in full control of our life. Even if we have to surrender to some things, it's only because it's happening in divine timing. Being in full control of your life does not mean that you can control every part of your life, but it means that you understand and you surrender to the divine timing within your life, to the divine alignment within your life, that you are co-creating with the universe, understanding that you and the universe are not two different things. Y'all are one and the same, and y'all are actually on this path to create the life that is truly for you and to influence a great amount of people. So you got to understand that you got to stop making excuses for yourself in the shape of your life and just thinking that everything is happening against you. You got to stop assuming and taking in a victim role within your life and stop taking in a victim mentality role within your life. You got to understand that being the creator of your life means that you have full control and you can branch into anything that you want to do. It's all about the capacity that you give yourself to live your life. But if you're giving yourself a false capacity where you limit yourself based off the constructs of this external world, you're only going to have a limited life. You got to understand that this world is only a reflection of who we are internally. And yes, while it does have to catch up to the speed of our internal growth, it also means that you have to align your external self with your internal world. Don't necessarily make the external world validate you, but understand that all you need is your internal validation of self so that you can create the life that is truly for you. I feel like we create excuses for things within our life, just blaming it on other people and not taking full accountability of the role that we play within this. We are actively making decisions, choices, and steps each and every day and each and every moment of our life. So you got to understand that the role that you play within your life, you are actively shaping your mind with the things that you are choosing to indulge in, and the things you aren't choosing to indulge in, you are keeping it the same. What you are not changing, you are choosing. You gotta understand that the things that we keep stagnant within our life are the things that can be the most transformational to our life. It can really just put us onto a different path and really transform our life because we are the transformation. If we just take a second to really just align ourselves and realign and refocus on the path that is truly for us, there's no doubt that we will reach our goals. It's not a matter of if we will reach our goals, it's a matter of when. It's a matter of if we truly align to this version that has this. I feel like sometimes we can restrict ourselves because we believe it's only a matter of time before you can eventually grow into this person, when it's all about your intentions. You have to be intentional with every moment, with every action that you take on a day-to-day basis in order to create your life. You gotta flow with life, and you also gotta surrender to life. You gotta flow, surrender, and just be the flow, be the constant within your life. With things changing within our life, it's going to be many things that leave and go, but the only thing that we truly have is ourselves. We don't need to attach ourselves to any worldly connections or worldly attachment within this life because it is insignificant. It is insignificant, and it doesn't take as much to do. You got to understand that you got to just validate your own self. Your internal world is where everything lies. That's where all the gift lies. That's where the key and the true gift of life is. So you gotta understand that you gotta love your life and you gotta accept your life for what it truly is. Stop making excuses for the life that you are living. I feel like sometimes we can make excuses and blame it on other people when we are in full control of our life. Being in full control of our life can be a greatly remarked thing as the best thing within your life, but you gotta also know that just because you are in full control of your life does not mean that everything is up to you. Some things are destined for us because of the life that we chose before we embarked on this path. You gotta love yourself, you gotta value your path and follow your path. Stop making excuses for where you at, because if you are at the level that you are at right now within your life, you are exactly where you need to be. It's not anything that's going to change it except your actions. Nothing outside of yourself is going to change your actions. Nothing outside of yourself is going to change your path. So you got to just stay focused, stay level-headed, and just stay aligned with your path, because you are the alignment, you are the transformation, and you are the growth. Every step that you are taking is actively paving the way for the path that you are taking each and every step of your life. It's good. So understand that this is your life. This is your transformations within your life, and you can actively receive this if you can embody who you want to be. You know, stop limiting yourself and stop limiting the mindsets and the perspectives that you can have on this world. You know, branches to as many things as you can, branches to as many people that you can, learn as much people, learn as much languages as you can. Just try to learn everything, but it's not really learning. You know, it's about remembering the true essence of ourselves, because we are the infinite consciousness. You know, we are the infinite knowing, so we all know this. But we just embarked on this journey to remember and just enjoy this experience. You know, stop making excuses for the point that your life is in, because every achievement that you have went through, every moment that you have embarked on, and every decision that you made has led you to the moment that you are at within your life. So you gotta love yourself, love your life, and love it that you are at. You know, stop making excuses for the life that you are living, because your life is exactly where it needs to be. You know, you gotta understand that your decisions, your steps are all changing your path. So understand that this is your life to live, and just fall in love with your life. Stop making excuses. Peace.